Okay. Um, so in our Neural Search Talks series, we are reporting live here from KMWorld 2023 and Enterprise Search and Discovery and a host of related conferences. I'm here with Marydee Ojala, who's the program director for Enterprise Search and Discovery, and you put together the program and been sharing some of the discussions as well. So how's your show so far?
It's been good. We've had a lot of excellent talks within the Enterprise Search and Discovery program, and I actually thought that some of the keynote speeches for all of the KMWorld conference were quite good.
Yeah,
some which actually related to search.
Exactly.
And some did not. I thought Dion Hinchliffe yesterday had some very wonderful insights about where generative AI is going and where AI in general is going and how that is going to affect our work environment for years to come.
Yeah. So would you say that's like the leading topic for this year's conference?
I would. I don't know that we really thought about that to begin with, but as generative AI has now been popular for a year, thanks to OpenAI's inaugural ChatGPT, which was a year ago. When I think back to last year's conference,
nobody was talking about it, right? Yeah.
Talked about
so it's really like a big revolution in that sense, right? So.
As you've noticed, of course, there's a tremendous amount of hype about it.
Yeah.
People apparently believe it can do anything.
And also tremendous amount of desire to learn about it, right? Like everybody
learn about it. That is true. But then there are also people who, instead of taking the time to learn about it, simply go to the knowledge management department or the IT department or whatever it might be within their company and say, that's important. We need some of that.
Right. And do you think
they have no idea what it is, but they need it?
Yeah. And do you think this, apart from like the hype and the real value, do you think that generative AI and large language models are somewhat of a new opportunity for knowledge management to take center stage in companies?
I absolutely do, and I know some people talking here at the conference have pretty much said that this is our opportunity. Certainly, in terms of enterprise search,
right?
We have seen over the last 10 years, it's been flat. It's been static. It's been, oh, we'll talk about search, but we have nothing really extraordinary to talk about. This year we do.
No, it's changed.
We have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot to talk about in terms of the benefits of AI, not just generative AI. A lot of people are saying AI when they mean generative AI.
Yeah, large language models.
If you think about it, AI has been around since the 1950s. Have we been using it in search? Have we been using it in KM? Yes, we have.
Yeah.
The generative piece of it, the creative piece of it, that is actually
and the quality level, and the quality level, right?
Quality level, of course, varies, and that's what people are concerned about. Certainly, more within the enterprise. If I am asking a ChatGPT or a Claude or any of those for suggestions for where to go on vacation, if they tell me something that's not true, it's basically unimportant.
Right.
Inside the enterprise, if I want to know if our company did something, I want to know what a project looked like. I want to
be very reliable, safe, and absolutely accurate. Yeah.
Simply cannot have hallucinations. There was one of my speakers this morning. He showed a slide. He had asked, I think it was ChatGPT, about. I think the sentence was something about what are the benefits of the newer applications of enterprise search. and the first two paragraphs were his company. So he was delighted
Right.
until he read the first paragraph,
Yeah.
which credited his company with creating something that A, did not exist, and B, they hadn't even thought about.
Right.
So this kind of hallucination can be extremely damaging if a potential client is looking for his company,
Yeah.
and then they find that, oh, this isn't true.
So everybody's talking about retrieval augmented generation, right? Like, so retrieval augmented generation basically finds information in a traditional search engine and then gives it to the generative AI to provide a more accurate answer. Do you believe that's like what we should be looking at nowadays, or do you see other paths that are more promising?
I think you have to understand what generative AI can do for a specific domain.
Right.
Because ChatGPT became so popular, it's used by the general public. That's not necessarily what you would want to have within an enterprise.
Right.
We would love to know everything in terms of sources that ChatGPT was trained on. Do we know this? No, we do not. And there are several lawsuits out there on that very issue. Inside the enterprise, if you take your LLM to be domain specific and you run your chatbot against that, that decreases the possibility of hallucinations. It does not totally eliminate it,
Yeah.
but it decreases it.
So
And so that's a good thing. But so you have to look at what is the training model being used for the chatbot.
So companies have invested a lot also in other ways of curating enterprise knowledge, right? Like knowledge graphs, ontologies, taxonomies, classification schemes.
Absolutely.
Do you think those approaches will still prevail as we move forward, or are they at risk of being replaced by the knowledge in large language models and retrieval augmented systems?
I don't think they're going to be replaced. I do think they are going to be enhanced.
Yeah, so it's a complementary situation.
Yeah, there was a different session from yesterday within the Enterprise Search and Discovery Conference, but there was someone in the audience who said she had tried to use an LLM to create taxonomy terms specific to their company, and it came up with 15,000.
Right. Were they good?
The human being going to vet 15,000.
Yeah.
My speaker started laughing, and she said, "Oh, you only got 15,000. You were so lucky.
Right. Yeah.
Usually, it's more like 200,000." So clearly, that's unsustainable. You just can't work with 200,000 terms for a taxonomy and make it work.
And manage it as a human.
What you absolutely need is a human in the loop. You have to understand that things are being generated creatively, not necessarily factually.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, so you're worried about this sort of connection to facts and
It's right in its place.
Yeah.
If I'm writing a short story, I want to be creative. If I'm writing a memo to my boss, I want to be factual.
Yeah. So if you so we're now in November 2023, KMWorld in Washington. Next year also in Washington?
Yes, as I understand it, it will be at this same hotel. Will be about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Because this is election week.
Right. So
we're 2 blocks from the White House. This is not a good time to do a conference. So we will be 2 weeks later, but we will still be in November. Yes.
So I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction for the election, but I'm going to ask you to make some to sketch your hopes or dreams for where the field will go in 12 months, because things are obviously developing very rapidly at the moment.
I think by that time we will have a much better handle on what generative AI can really do, both for knowledge managers and for search itself. we will have a lot more use cases that are practical, things that work, things that didn't
Yeah,
work,
lessons learned.
lessons learned, absolutely. And I think some of the companies, particularly startup companies in the AI field, are going to fail. And we'll have that sorted out by next year. We may have new startups as well, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a continually evolving situation in terms of what companies are doing and who's going to supply the technologies to the companies.
Yeah. Well, I think
A fascinating.
I think knowledge management is here to stay, and it's become
It's definitely here to stay.
it's becoming more crucial than ever. And
Yes.
we're with Zeta Alpha also here to stay. So looking forward to see you again at
Excellent.
KMWorld next year.
Me too.
Thank you, Marydee.
Sure.